The Australian Ghost Whisperer with Caterina Legato and James Jennings. Hello everyone, welcome to the show.
Hi everybody, welcome back for another edition of the Australian Ghost Whisperer.
Now, when I spoke to Caterina about today's episode, she told me the title and I was hooked immediately because I was like, that's a great title for an episode. Love Beyond the Grave. I mean, it sounds like a great kind of like old school romance movie or something. Like it's pretty cool. So Caterina, tell me why you've got a story to tell that is Love Beyond the Grave.
Because it really is a love story that went on beyond the grave.
Okay.
And they were very good friends of mine, and I thought today I'd honour them with telling their story because they don't mind. I asked them and they don't mind. So I will tell you about their story. This was in my earlier days. When I was really starting out as a medium, and I was still sort of working through my understanding my gifts and sort of, finding my feet with it all. And I had two beautiful friends. They were a couple. And anyway, unfortunately, my friend, and her name, I probably won't use her real name just in case,
All right.
but her name is Therese, and she was diagnosed with bowel cancer, and it was a very aggressive cancer, and the doctors basically, said to her that she didn't have long to live. So it was very devastating because, I just so loved her. She was such a beautiful, warm soul, and her husband Pasquale. And they loved each other. They weren't able to have children, so they were married, and they just had they were like two peas in a pod, just such a beautiful couple. And of course, hearing this news was very devastating for them also. Anyway, she decided that she wanted to go back to Italy and kind of live her last days there, which she did. So we all went to the airport to see her off before she got too sick and wasn't going to be able to travel. And oh my gosh, it was one of the saddest days of my life, just saying goodbye to her forever. Anyway, so she went, and, eventually she did pass away, and the husband came back from Italy. And as time progressed, he met up with another woman and began a new life with her, which is fair enough. No one expected him to be on his own. So they were together for a couple of years. They lived together, and not long shortly after that, Pasquale died also. Yeah, I can't remember back then because I wasn't so much in touch with him anymore, with his new girlfriend or partner. So he died. And so after he died, that's right, then his partner that they were living together, she died.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Do you know
going back like 40 years.
Yeah. Do you know how he died and how she died?
Look, I to memory, I feel like he died quite suddenly. So I feel like he died of like a heart attack, something, it was quick.
Okay.
Now, I didn't have any kind of relationship with the new partner, but I think that she died of some sort of cancer or something.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So they all died.
Wow.
They all went back to spirit world. Anyway, one night I'm fast asleep in my bed, and I feel somebody tugging at my toes to wake up. So I wake up and I'm like, what the hell? I was used to either, spirit people waking me up. And it was my friend Therese. Yeah, in spirit, and she was really upset. And
did she look quite defined? Like was she like the typical stereotypical transparent version of someone, or quite solid, or
no, not solid, quite like a very luminous, because she'd been on
Okay.
the other side for
Okay.
a while, and we had communications, you
Okay.
know, off and on. So she was kind of standing at the top of my bed, and she was really upset. And I thought, God, like, you've got your husband back. I know they were real soulmates, you know. And it's like, well, what's wrong? So we're communicating. And she said to me that ever since the other woman, the new partner that Pasquale had married since Therese had died, that she was kind of trying to separate them, and she wanted to be with Pasquale, and my friend Therese said, no, he's my husband, and you know, he was, you know, we deserve to be together. And so she was interfering. And she
wasn't
wanted
happy.
me.
She wasn't happy about the two of them being together.
Well, she was happy for them to be together when they were physically here. But now that, yeah, so since he died, like, they just wanted to be together. And Pasquale didn't know how to separate himself from the second wife, the second partner. Yeah, if you're getting the drift.
Domestic drums in the afterlife.
Yeah, literally domestic. And Therese didn't know how to get rid of her, because she just wanted to have him back all to herself. And as far as she was concerned, you know, I was his first wife, and I'm, you know, I don't want her around. I'm the real wife. I'm the true wife.
I got in first.
I got in first, so she wanted my help. And I'm like, geez,
this is amazing.
Surely you've got a better connection to doing something than I have down here.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I can't do anything. You got to help me. You know, you got to find out what you can do.
Did Pasquale not want to leave the second wife, or?
Well, Pasquale did. So I tapped into him. So then that night, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sleep anymore. So I went and made myself a cup of tea. I thought, jeez,
I better sort this
dear
out.
God, how am I going to sort this out? So I tapped into Pasquale, and he really wanted to be with Therese. As much as he had loved his other partner, he felt that, you know, they were very, like I said, so solidly connected at a very deep spirit level. So I thought, okay, so we got that sorted. So I kind of tried to put some protection around them. And all of a sudden, as I'm putting protection around them, like, I was just thinking if I can create some sort of force field around them that they won't be intervened with or interfered with by this other woman. Well, this woman turned really bloody nasty. She launched at me like a demon.
So the second wife?
The second wife was so evil, turns out. And it's no wonder I sort of hardly ever visited Pasquale when he was with the other woman. I just never got a good vibe. She launched at me. She was swearing and cursing and how dare you, and he belongs to me, and you shouldn't be interfering. And she's launching like a real kind of evil.
Did she kind of like look demonic?
She was very dark, yes. Very dark, and very, like, she just wouldn't let out.
So she'd latched onto him and was basically treating him like a possession.
Correct.
Like, you're mine, you're not for anyone else, I'm keeping you. That was the whole vibe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And there was no reasoning either with her. And I'm like, but, you know, they belong to, they're choosing to be together. They're making that choice. It's not like I was making it for them. They wanted to be together, and he wanted just a nice sort of goodbye with the second wife, and everybody moves on. So this woman was, and so like I said, these were my early days, so I probably wasn't as trained in evil beings as I am now. She's literally chasing me around my house in spirit.
Oh, wow.
Really cursing, and I'm like trying to hide and dodge her. Anyway, I thought, okay, I had to stop. I had to power up, connect in with my guides, and I'm like, right, we contained her. And we're like, you have your own family on the other side. You have ancestors and mothers and I can't really remember, but there were people on the other side that she needed to go and connect with and work through all of this anger that she felt and allow this couple to have continue in the afterlife to be together because this is what they were choosing to do. And, you know, she could not really intervene any longer. So we contained her. And so then it was like my guides brought in her family, like I think it was her parents and that. So we kind of got her connected to her family. And then we tried to, we sent her a great deal of healing to calm her down and kind of get the ancestors to look after her. So finally she left, thank God. What a nightmare that night.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so she obviously then, once she sort of joined up and connected up with her family, then they were able to obviously continue with whatever healing needed to be. Yeah. So that way then my two friends, Therese and Pasquale, were left in peace to be together.
Okay.
So that's pretty much how the story went. And then Therese was so grateful that I'd managed to kind of bugger this woman off and get rid of her. And they were very grateful. And so then I sort of helped them to kind of move up into a bit of a higher realm, higher dimensions, because all this had sort of kind of lowered them vibrationally, and they'd kind of been going into those lower realms where with all this bickering and fighting. So I kind of boomed a lot of light and energized them both and helped them to go up into the higher realms where I knew then they'd be safe and quite separated from the other woman. And they have continued being eternally grateful and happy on the other side. And the other one, I never heard from her again. I mean, I didn't really want to. I guess she's all right.
No.
So it just goes to show how, you know, love does continue beyond the grave. People find each other. And, you know, much to my surprise, how there can still be bickering,
domestic
disputes about my husband and he's my husband, no, he belongs to me, on the other side.
I thought I'd heard everything, Caterina.
Yeah, I know. I'd heard it all.
You're essentially the supernatural relationship counselor
for the spirit
who's
realm.
just like, you need to leave this guy alone. You need to step off. You need to move on.
I really didn't know what I was going to do. You know, I'm like, what?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So she basically called you in for the job. Like,
she basically
get the broom out and
was pulling on my toes, wake up, like, I don't know why she couldn't have told me through the day, some half all
Exactly.
bloody night,
Yeah.
no sleep,
Yeah.
with all these three people trying to sort them out,
oh my God.
get them all into where they belong.
See, next time you have insomnia and you think that's as bad as it gets, like, just spare a thought for Caterina, who has to deal with like
Please don't come to me.
domestic disputes in the middle of the night.
Please don't wake me up.
Yeah.
But I think the moral of the story too is, you know, and I know this happens a lot where people lose a partner and then move on. And I think, I don't know, like, do you decide who ultimately you want to be with when you finally get to the other side yourself? Is it with your original partner, or are you happy to be with both partners? I mean, that's anything's allowed on the spirit world. So do you all form a happy relationship and be together, or do you decide that when I get to the other side that I want to be with my original partner, and you have this discussion before you pass away? Like, I really think it's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because you don't want to get to the other side and then start sort of having these issues.
Yeah. Well, what I'm curious about here is, and this is a bit, maybe a bit of a deeper topic, but like the topic of identity in the spirit world, because things that I've heard, well, from you and from, you know, reading and learning about these things, is that, like, sure, we have our identity, and as your story proves those identities continue in the spirit world. But I've also heard about how we're connected to a higher self that's had thousands or millions of lives. So essentially, the life and identity we have now, it's just like a little drop, or it's just like one tiny little experience in a much larger, grander experience. So it's kind of like, do we ascend into that bigger version of us that's like lived multiple lives? Can the person that you've been in love with come with you? Are you joined anyway? Because we're all connected in the spirit world. I've got all these questions.
That's a lot of questions.
It is.
Okay. Firstly, understand that anyone who passes away, they're going to go into the dimension where they feel most comfortable. Someone I'm talking about a couple that were your typical little Italians who just went to church. They weren't spiritually evolved or anything. Okay. So of course they hadn't gone to the super duper dimension where you're all one with the universes and the planets and God. No, they went somewhere that was sort of comfortable for them, so that they obviously would continue their evolution and their learnings and what they needed to. So everybody, according to all the work you've done on yourself here in the physical, equates to where you go on the other side, because there are many, many levels of frequencies, of dimensions with different frequencies, until you kind of just return to the oneness with Creator God. Now, they hadn't gotten there yet. So they were in a frequency where they were still quite identified with their personality and who they were in the physical world.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were still identifying with themselves as a couple, rather than, you will, once you have evolved enough, you'll go beyond that. You will see the oneness with all beings. And, So that's where they were at. So I had to work with where they were at. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like, like even though when I die, I don't necessarily want the identity of James to disappear forever, but like I'm far more interested in linking up with whatever the bigger version of me is that is in tune with universal consciousness and everything being connected, and like I'm much more interested in that.
And you will, because you've been doing the work to prepare yourself for. But like I said, people who are just living quite a physical life, when they get to the other side, they're not going to be ready. It's like getting a kindergarten child and trying to throw them into high school and expect them to get, be able to get through high school. So it's the same thing. It's like a slow, Yeah,
so it's a process.
It's a process. It's where you, as the soul or the spirit evolves, they're able to go into the higher and higher frequencies. But this couple were not, and that second wife, well, she was very low frequency.
It sounds like it.
She was filled with anger and bitterness, and I think they were, Teresa and Pasquale were in their own little bubble of love, and I think then she came along and she saw that and became very angry and bitter about it, and was trying to really take over, and they didn't know what to do.
So that's you solving a domestic dispute in the afterworld. Do you have to do that now with people who've passed over and people who are living? So like, will someone who's, in this plane of existence on Earth come and see you and go, I had beef with my brother, sister, father, mother, whatever, and they want to heal some kind of rift between them or even the opposite, like, maybe someone over there has gone, oh God, I really want to repair this thing with this person here on Earth. Like, how often do you have to get involved in those kinds of situations?
Often. I've had a lot of clients. It's like, I feel so bad. My friend passed away, or whoever, my mother, my father, and we didn't quite get a chance to make up, or to say our final goodbyes, or we had a fight before passing. So yes, I've been the medium between, those two people where, you know, they've been able to obviously, you know, make up and forgiveness and share the love and be able to move on.
Yeah. So you've had to be a counselor a lot of the time, like a relationship counselor, like for real.
Yeah, I guess I never looked at it that way. I just kind of do what I need to do and it all comes natural. But but I'd never really had a situation like this of my friend where there's been, you know, this extra wife
the angry other wife
who was really angry. I mean, I've seen situations like this and they're, you know, they're quite happy being unified, whether it's the extra wife, extra husband, or, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
But this was, they just wanted to be left alone. They just wanted her gone because she was very mean. She was
Sounds
really
like
mean. Yeah, she has launched at me because I put this protection around my two friends, and just, you know, put them in this beautiful luminous light to be protected. And I asked God and their guides to kind of look after them because it's like, you know, I can't come up there and do it myself.
Yeah.
And she just launched. It was like this dark, shadowy thing launched at me. And she was screeching and she was so angry that I was there to intervene.
God.
And I'm running around the house. This is my early days. I had barely just kind of, you know, it's like I said, it was fun. I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? How am I going to get this witch out of my home?
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
That's wild. I wonder what about these people who have like 5, 6, 7 ex-partners? Like I've got 5 ex-wives. Like they're going to be in for a
well, I guess they will. Yeah, they would. And I guess you'll gravitate towards the person that you have the most heart connection with.
Right.
So of all those 7, 8 wives or 7, 8 husbands, there must be one person, or maybe there's a few people that you have a real deep heart connection with. Because it's the bond of love that can never be broken, that guides us, and that's how we find each other on the other side. So when people die, you know, it's that love, you know, like when Pasquale died, it was his love for his wife that kind of were two like magnets that brought them together.
Yeah. I mean, look, and not to be too cynical, but maybe these people who do have like multiple ex-partners, maybe they don't ever have that heart connection with someone, and they're just kind of like cycling through partners.
Well,
you know, like
there's got a lot of issues going on.
Yeah, like I won't name names, but there are certain, like, you know, very rich people and famous people in the world who do that, but you feel like they collect partners like trophies.
Trophies,
You know, it's like, oh, look at my latest hot young wife.
And I think those people never really want to have a heart connection with anyone, which is why they just sort of go from partner to partner, because they don't really ever want to be with someone long enough to work through issues or complete a relationship with somebody. And that's okay. Like, that's just where they're at. That's fine, you know, if that's where they're at. Who am I to judge, you know?
Yeah.
But in this instance, that was my little story of love beyond the grave. And I occasionally still say hello and check up on them.
I was about to say, like, what's you're still? They're still about.
She's cute. Yeah. She was such a lovely. She was a very pure soul.
Oh, that's
very
nice.
sweet, very kind. I you know, like, I just feel so honoured that I had got to spend time with her. I was only very young when I met her because they were like distant cousins of the family. So they lived, you know, in another state. So when they came to Sydney, I just clicked and bonded with her. She was just this beautiful, pure, very loving, very sweet. Yeah,
That's
it was quite devastating losing her.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been.
It was, it was.
Yeah, but what an amazing journey to go from that to solving, you know, relationship issues in the afterlife. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it was really, I didn't know how, like, I'm like, how the hell do I do this? It's not like I can go and just fly into the spirit world. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, look, when you told me today that the title of the show was going to be Love Beyond the Grave, I didn't know what to expect, but you delivered.
I delivered.
You delivered. You delivered on the promise of that very evocative title. So
Yeah, there you go.
So thank
Something
you.
a bit different. And I asked them if they minded if I would share this with everybody today, and they didn't mind.
All right. Well, thank you, Therese and Pasquale.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate you sharing your very interesting story with us, and we're glad you found happiness on the other side.
Yep.
Keep-
They're together.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thanks, Caterina. Thanks for sharing that amazing story. And
Thank you, everybody. Please remember to subscribe and hit the like button for us if you'd like us to continue on. We need your support.
We do.
So please hit the like button. It helps us to grow our channel.
Indeed. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things. We'd love to hear from you. So please, do get in touch if you have things you'd like us to cover or in future episodes. Kat might be able to remember a few other domestic disputes that she's worked on in the spirit world. We'll see. We will see. All right. Okay. Thanks, Caterina.
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Lots of love to you all.
Indeed. See you later, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
To gain access to private spiritual development classes, guided meditations, and live Q&As with Caterina, please visit www.patreon, that's patreon.com/The Australian Ghost Whisperer.